probably know in this race there's just two of us. Some of you know who my opponent is. You know, there's an old rule that says you don't mention your opponent, but we know who he is. It rhymes with George Bush. It's George P. Bush. What we have before us is a unique opportunity. There's just two of us. And we can choose sort of the ultimate establishment candidate with incredible connections to Austin and D.C. and money, or we can choose an authentic grassroots conservative. That's, of course, what I hope you'll do. We talk a lot about the need to go on offense with conservative values. Let me give another few examples. Let's talk about history for a moment. Remember, there's four big works of the land commissioner: manage public land, make money for education, for veterans benefits, history, and the coastline. Think about history for a second. Why do we even have the Alamo, the symbol of Texas history? It is because of the work of the Daughters of the Republic of Texas. Mm-hmm. Now, they said, this is precious, we've got to preserve it. They were the only ones saying that. And for 105 years, they had custodianship of the Alamo. Now, a few years ago, Attorney General Abbott was convinced that there were some financial issues in the leadership of the DRT. And the legislature was persuaded to take custodianship away from the daughters. I think that was a terrible mistake. Presently, the General Land Office has custodianship. And I think that's a terrible mistake. This is typical government again. We spoke of that earlier. You have 7,000 private citizens trying to do good work, and let's just suppose they did make mistakes. Let's just grant that for the sake of argument. What's government always ready to do when citizens mess up? Take away liberties, right? Punish. I argue if that had been a government agency that had done what the daughters were alleged to have done, we would still not have the answers. You know, there'd still be some ongoing fuzzy investigation. All right. So I've said all through this campaign, as land commissioner, I want to work with the legislature. We define a framework where we restore custodianship of the Alamo to the daughters. And yes, we can have some checks and balances. That's always healthy. But that's what we have to do. Now, one more example that deals with the Alamo. Some of you have read and heard the folks in San Antonio are working to get the Alamo designated as a UN World Heritage Site. If you can believe that. That and 4 other sites. Yeah, I get the same, by the way, be discouraged because of that, but be encouraged because everywhere I go I get that reaction on that subject. It brings the most response of any subject. And Mayor San Antonio, and I'm sorry to say it appears Commissioner Patterson with the General Land Office is on board with this. You can read his press release where he defends this. It's on the General Land Office website. They view it as a tourism designation that will bring more money, but that's not what it is. It's not that the UN would take over, although I don't trust them for a second, but it is needless influence. We are opening the door for UN influence in how we manage and preserve the Alamo. There is no issue at the Alamo that needs the UN. Amen. Yeah. There's no issue down there that we Texans can't resolve, you see. And so when you start adding in the UN, that just makes it a very bad situation. And so it's horrible thinking. And then if you step back and you say, it was in the hands of the daughters a few years ago. Now it's in a bureaucracy. And who do they want to cozy up to? You see the trend? And this is a key theme of our campaign. Executive branch agencies, they always seek more power. They always reach for more authority. And they insulate themselves so that you can't influence them. You see, now you can see it vividly at the federal level, right? Yeah. Think about the EPA. We've alluded to some of that. Just I think Monday of this week, if I have the dates right, the EPA essentially outlawed 80% of wood-burning stoves that are in production in the U.S. today by forcing higher environmental standards. That's wrong. They just do that unilaterally. So anyway, in Texas, we have to make absolutely sure our executive branch agencies don't get that sort of mentality. We got to restrain government. Here's a key philosophy of mine. If we don't aggressively restrain government, guess what? It will aggressively restrain us. So we have to restrain government. Government has a proper role, but it has to be aggressively restrained to its proper role. And that's why I pitch to you, we need an authentic conservative. Not a family dynasty. We need an authentic conservative to lead this work. So I hope that helps. Thank you so much.